Hi, Alan. Yeah, this is Arthur. Yeah, 我们要有一期新的嘉宾来参加视频了，屏幕之前的你就拭目以待吧。好的，这一期的话，我请来了我在波兰的朋友艾琳。那么她的话会跟我们分享一些在中国生活和学习的经历，同时的话会讲一些关于她认为或者说我认为的中国和波兰之间的一些不同点。How long have you lived in China?
1 year.
1 year.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
In Qingdao.
1 year, and it's not a short time. So, do you think there have some difference between China and Poland? For example, as I know, in China we have some lunch break.
Yes.
After lunch, we need 1 or 2 hours for sleep and take a rest.
For sleep? Do you actually sleep?
Most time it's for sleep.
You can take a nap, right? At the work, right? That's interesting.
And in Poland,
there's no naps. I love naps, but there's no naps. Well, we have a lunch break, but I don't think it's so important as it's in China. Well, for example, in England, it's also quite important because I have my parents in England, so I can compare actually. But in Poland, I think that's such a big deal. Like we have lunch break, but people are often skipping, to be honest, because they want to work for let's say less time, right? So they want to finish earlier. They don't want to finish at 5, maybe at 4 or 3, but they just skip lunch and then they eat some. I think for us supper is more important. I don't think even in Chinese you have the word for supper because you have one fan, but it's more like our dinner, because what time do you eat the one fan? Because you have fan is like the lunch, right? And then you eat, what is the next meal? Like one fan?
One fan, yes.
Yeah, and then what time? At 5 you eat or?
I think most time is 6 to 7.
Okay, so it's like supper, right? More or less. But it's hot, right? Because for us,
hot,
I think the most important, like I think for me or my friends or my parents or whatever, the meal is dinner, but the dinner after work, so it's actually about 5 or 6, and then we eat supper again, so it's like about 7 or 8, but it's like more like sandwiches. Like I have a lot of friends who skip breakfast, who skip lunch, and then they just eat, they eat some snack in the middle of the day, but very quick, very fast. Or even some McDonald's, they just go and grab a cheeseburger and then they just eat a big dinner, right? I never actually see anyone who takes an hour. Mostly our break is like half an hour. And also at school it's half an hour. So we are used to having only, at universities also half an hour. I actually have some Chinese friends at the university and they're always so, oh my god, we only have 30 minutes to eat lunch and we have to stand in the queue for food and then we have to wait and then we have to eat and they have like 10 minutes. But for us 10 minutes it's a long time to eat lunch. But I know for Chinese it's like unbelievable, right? Like,
yes.
不可能, right?
不可能.
不可能.
So most time we spend around 1 hour for lunch
at least,
and then
right?
at least and then have another 1 hour for take a rest.
休息, right?
休息.
I also like to休息in the 中午, right? Because it's very nice to after a meal it's nice to rest, but we don't have this tradition, unfortunately, right? So.
Okay. Also, I found some differences. In China, we wear the coat in the winter and going to the indoor, or for example, in class or in office. But in Poland, I found that there always have some reception to
yes, always like the cloakroom, right? Yes. Most of the places, even at the university, you are expected like. For me, sometimes I just keep my coat, but I can see like it's not so appreciated, let's say. And where to start like this? Any place you go, restaurant, I think office, school, university, even to the theater or something, you always have the cloakroom. You go even to the party, right? Some clubs or whatever pubs. Even there you have some hook, right? And you are supposed to hang there, or some cloakroom. It's always even the small one.
Okay, so it's not very necessary, but it's better, yeah?
Well, it depends on the place. Because, for example, if you go to the theater, not to the cinema, but to watch a play, actually, you have to. It's no way you can actually go to the theater and leave on your seat. Because it will be very offending, I think, and a lot of people will be like, and I think maybe somebody will tell you to actually do it, like some officer, like somebody working at the theater. But other, like cinema, you can go with your coat, of course, because it's not so official, right? Offices, I think it's better at the office because you are at the office 8 hours, right? Or some longer time, so you also suppose university is okay to take your coat, but if I only have one class, then I take my coat with me. But if I have longer, I always put my coat in the coat room. Also, if I have a lot of things, I don't like to carry them, and it's also it looks kind of rude if you take like one bag, second bag, like your gym bag, you know, something, and they can kind of not feel so good about like somebody can like actually tell you like maybe you could put it or something, right? But or well, it just like expected from you, right? The same in the restaurant or something. So mostly we don't put our coats on the seats, right? Because it's
back of the seat.
It seems it's a bit rude, right? Impolite, let's say, right? So when I first came to China, because I was an au pair, like they call it Huhuishan, right? And it's the guy who was manager, let's say, like Jin Li of this company, that he gave us the book, and it was like 99 differences between Western and Chinese people. It was also now I think about this topic. And it was like, for example, when you enter the room, or even if you like have to go, like you have to enter through the door, right? And I think in Poland or in Europe in general, there's always some kind of hierarchy, right? Some kind of who is going to enter first the room and so on and so on. So for example, for us, it's still like the women are supposed to come first. Then maybe it's always the confusion if there's like elder person and a woman, but if there's like elder woman and the woman, then you choose elder woman first, then the woman actually. But if you have pregnant woman, it's also confusing, so you have to like pregnant elder woman and then maybe younger woman. But for sure age, because I think in China it's mostly because of the age, but there's no gender, I think, differences. If this a man or when I was in China, when I came to the elevator, for example, in Poland it's normal, I'm a woman and everybody lets me come in first, right? All the men like are waiting for the woman to came in, right, to enter the elevator, for example. But in China it was like all bodies coming at once, right? It's like please go, because there are so many people also, right?
Yeah, also sometimes someone want to go into out and someone want to
it's very hard. I mean, like you can say how you say this in Chinese? 我要结果一下 or something. If you want to like
something like
结果一下, right? Or something like this. If you want to like
让一下
or something like this, like结果一下, or something like this, right? But in Poland you just say like sorry, and like awkwardly try to do it. Or we have actually, like, I think this is a bit similar to China, that we still have a lot of quite, I would call them rude, but it's like, for example, I think Chinese culture, and we still have this kind of, but mostly older women or men, they're like just like going like this with their elbows, and they're just going, not saying even sorry, like sorry, and then like go like this. But mostly it's like we have this order, right? And it's like sign of the good behavior, being polite and manners, right? So women first and men for sure. It doesn't matter if they're older or not, right? The men is like they always have to wait. Well, also the other topic we can talk about is like the traffic, right? For me, okay, I'm not a driver and I don't even have driving license, so it's hard for me to talk about all the traffic rules, but I'm like, I walk a lot, let's say, so I can compare even, but for me, to be honest, in Asia in general, the traffic rules are very confusing, let's say. I don't like, I'm to be honest, I'm very often afraid to even like cross the road in China, because it's crazy.
Lights,
even with it doesn't matter, I think, actually. Or the zebra crossing, it still makes me very, like afraid to. I always look at other Chinese people like okay, and also I was driving this Dianduncha in Shijiazhuang with my teacher, but I never did it alone because I was too afraid. Always my teacher first, and I just like go after her, and
like
then
pins,
then I know what to do, but myself, it was too crazy. So because I don't know, all this like this also Dianduncha, but also other cars, they just go like to the pedestrians and then they cross whenever. Or if you want to cross the road, for me there are like no rules. I don't know. It's like you have to just.
It's hard to find some. Actually, we have the rules.
Of course.
I had the experience to learn how to drive and get the drive license in Poland.
So you have, but you have your car and you're still driving here?
Yes.
Nice.
And compare with the rules of the traffic, it's similar, almost similar. The difference is here have the trams, but in China,
yeah,
we don't
but
have.
I think it's still for me when I cross the road in Poland as a pedestrian, like as a walking person, I don't feel afraid even for a second because I know if it's like green light and there's zebra crossing, there's no way any car would actually cross this.
Exactly,
but in China, I'm not so sure to be honest. So that's I think the problem. Also, because I'm not used to, we don't have in Poland this diendące. We have some scooters, but like very few people have them, and they always use them on the pedestrian walking. But in China, they have like there are a lot of them. So I'm and they're quite fast and small, so I'm very confused when they just cross the road, or they go with me. I'm walking and I get confused, So, well, and sometimes you have to be very quick. I don't know. I think it's like, but I don't know. For example, my parents in England, they also like a lot of people cross the road on red light and there's no problem, and my parents are like, I just cross there. It's like in Poland I would never do it, So, and also the cars are more like in England they're more looking for the person. And I think the same in Poland, right? The cars are more like
you have to wait when someone is crossing, even there's no light. Or
you can use the honk, right, and then be like angry. But if you, I think people are very careful, like about people, right? In general, in Europe, right? Like London, Paris, I don't know, like Berlin. I think it's quite, let's say, loose. Not so many people, right? I don't think it's a big problem, right? So, because we have only 2 million, not like 20 or 40, so it's still quite comfortable, right?
后来我和艾琳我们俩其实谈论了很多东西，但是由于时间的限制，这一期我们就先谈这么多。以后的话，我们会跟大家分享更多的一些内容。那么也感谢艾琳对我 YouTube 频道的支持。这也是我们频道第一次有嘉宾站在波兰人的角度去分享一些他对中国或者说对波兰和中国区别的一些看法。那么如果说你喜欢我视频的话，还是那句老话，别忘了点击关注。记住，我是一直待在欧洲的 chamilitv， 我们下一期视频再见，拜拜。